Welcome back. This is part 2 of the night 2 video for our activities for methods in educational technology. This is a shorter video because I want you to really work with the sites and resources I'm going to show you for validating and authenticating resources. I mentioned a little bit last week about how it really is our responsibility to protect students' privacy, to check out every site that we want to use with students, and ultimately to protect ourselves by being informed and knowing what we can about that site. So I want to point you towards a resource tonight. This resource is linked in Canvas as well under the Validating and Authenticating Resources page. It is the November Learning website. Okay, this website has a wealth of information about really helping students be safe and be 21st century learners. So it starts with a literacy quiz, a web literacy quiz, where you can go through and test yourself. You look at the answers. It gives you some websites to validate. Really look at some of these and see if you would think that they're trusted websites. Look for authors. Look for citations. Look for published dates on the links that are on that page. Step 4 in this takes you through how to read a web address, which is quite interesting. Some of the different extensions and names, as my internet is slow to pop it up here. But that page will take you through how to really read web addresses. Step 5 has you find the publisher of a website to know who it is that you are really reading from. Step 6 teaches you what is the history of a website. Look at the links in this one because there are links that can take you back to the day that a website was published and give you what it looked like every day between then and now. And then step 7 down here helps you just gain some perspective about the quality of information. So this site is one that I really want you to go into each of these and try it out and try the links. When you're done with that, there is a Google domain that's linked that is a list of all of the different Google domains so that you will know what countries things are coming from. And as you scroll down, you'll see all sorts of other links down here. This is just for your information page. I don't expect you to commit it to memory, but it does help when you're deciding the authenticity and the validity of a website. So that is that piece. Definitely look through that November Learning website. And then I want you to practice validating resources yourself. You're going to choose 5 sites that you could use in your content area with students. They could be sites where students could create information to share with others or resources you would point them to. You're going to make a copy of this evaluation form as it comes up. Once it opens, you're going to click File, Make a Copy. And you're going to go ahead and use this form, paste the site, look for its privacy policy terms of use, and then see if you would recommend it. Look down and copy one of these for each of those 5 sites and do a yes, no, fill it out. This is your decision-making step. The things that you need to think about before you use the site with students. The one that I'm showing you for an example is Google a Day. Google a Day is a game-based learning that teaches you to Google. So when you start playing, it's going to pop up a question and you've got to type in the search terms and find this answer as quickly as you can to get the most points. The one thing I would say for this site is that as a teacher, you need to check out the questions before you use this with your students. Most of them are okay. There are some questions that I've seen on Google a Day that I would not use with younger students. So pay attention to that, check out that. As you're looking for it, I'm going to tell you that terms of use and privacy policy sites, you have to read the fine print. That's where you're going to find the stipulations that you have to be 13 or older, or that you need a parent's permission to use that site. They're going to be in the fine print of these two documents. I've found that sometimes I have to Google the site plus privacy policy to actually find it, which kind of makes me think, if it's not easy to find, what's in it? So think about that as you're choosing 5 sites. You're going to make a copy of this page by going File, Make a Copy, and then please, when it pops up and says Copy of, take that and put your name right there so that you can use this. After that, you're going to go to the Google Sheet. These are also linked in Classroom. On that Google Sheet, you're going to share with all of us. So I've gone and I've put my Google a Day in here. I've given the link to the site. Absolutely free. I would use it with middle school or high school students. I've looked at the SAMR level, and actually for Google a Day, modification is probably where it is. Maybe augmentation. I mean, it depends upon how you use the information, how you talk about it with students, if they're collaborative with it. SAMR isn't cut and dry. It really is a trivia / teaching use of keywords to Google. Safety or concerns about the site, just make sure you check the questions. And then I put in here a link to the evaluation form so that you can link back and show that you've filled out those questions at the bottom. When you do that, you need to make sure that you've clicked the share button, and that when this pops up, this top box says anyone with the link can view. That way we will be able to see and won't have to request access to your documents. So just make sure that your share settings are good. You can pause the video now to go do those steps, or you can watch the next portion and then go back and do it all. So the next portion is teaching students to evaluate the quality of information on sites. There is an Edutopia article linked, and I will link that in Canvas as well so it's easier to get to. This article goes through and talks about teaching adolescents how to evaluate the quality of online information. I find that oftentimes my 5th and 6th graders feel like if it's out there on the web, it's valid, trustworthy information. So teaching them to think about that and look at the results and see if it's really a credible website that they're pulling information from. This article talks about that. It gives you ideas for how to model and practice that with students. It gives you instructional strategies, a planning guide, and scenarios to practice with students. Gives you some prompting and explaining things. Considering being a healthy skeptic, I think that's hard for some of our students nowadays because they're so used to using the internet to gather information. So this is the end of the validating resources portion of class. You're going to want to go to November Learning and look at that site. Go through these steps and make sure that you've filled out your Google Sheets and linked them, and then that Edutopia article. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I will see you in the next round.